So the child is living with you, Miss Wilson?
He's currently at his
Ma'am, I need a yes or no. Is the child living with you?
he is not here currently, no.
Okay. How long has he not been living with you?
Since I want to say January, December.
December or January. Okay.
Yeah. And he was
And what did you do to get your child? What did you try to do to get your child back?
I called the police. They said their hands are tied. I'm gonna have to take him to court. So that's what I did.
Moving out of my
Why did
parents'
you
house.
make that decision to just take your son, Mr. Navarro?
The final straw was she had just gone to jail for assault or attempted assault with a knife on her boyfriend or her mother's boyfriend. And she did that while my son was present and her other son as well, her newborn.
Interesting court case that I have for you guys today, as it involves child custody as well as child support. Now, what makes this interesting is that the mother previously filed for child support, denoting that she has custody of the child, but we find out that the father has had custody of the child for the past 6 months. And although she's petitioned the court for child support, the judge in this case is going to see it another way. We're going to hear allegations about aggressive behavior, allegations about violence, and we're also going to hear a father attempt to save their child from the situation or the environment that the mother is in. Let's get active on this one. Without further ado,
I think there's some disagreement as to where exactly the child lives. I think we just kind of need a determination on who is primary, and then I think we can actually send this back for some more negotiation.
Okay. Where does the child live, Miss Wilson?
He is supposed to be living with me. Since I filed for child support and a custody arrangement, because there's been too many disagreements between me and his father, he withdrew him from school and has kept him since this case has been pending. He's 5 years old and he did not enroll him in any other school. So now he's gonna have to repeat the grade level.
Okay. So the child is living with you, Miss Wilson?
He's currently at his
Ma'am, I need a yes or no. Is the child living with you?
He is not here currently, no.
Okay. How long has he not been living with you?
Since I want to say January, December.
December or January. Okay.
Yeah. And he was
and what did you do to get your child? What did you try to do to get your child back?
I called the police. They said their hands are tied. I'm gonna have to take him to court. So that's what I did.
Okay. So you took him to court. When did you take him to court?
Right now, I filed to.
So you didn't do anything since December or January. You called the police. The police told you that.
I did not know where he was. He left. I had no clue where my child is.
The police told you it was a civil matter and y'all need to go to court, right?
Yes. So I was trying to get an attorney and I reached out to legal aid and then I filed for child support and.
Hopefully you guys caught that. So she filed for child support when she didn't have the child in her possession. And that although she called the cops in that 6 months, she had not done anything else in order to get custody back. Also take note that while in the father's possession, now the child has to repeat a grade because they were never enrolled in school. Let's continue.
So what did legal aid do when you talked to them?
They kind of messed up my paperwork. Because I did not know where his address was, so they could not serve him. I recently found out where his address is. So now that he's been served, they finally said that they don't know if they can represent me until the end of the week because they've been messing my paperwork, basically.
Okay. All right, Mr. Navarro, how did you come into possession?
So we've heard the mother's side of the story that paints her as the victim in this situation. The father is going to paint a far different picture, but also take note to the court reporter. To you, Quinlan Jones, you were the most unprofessional court reporter I have ever seen. You should not be shaking your head or making EU gestures when you hear something. Your bias is showing.
Of the child.
About December, it was December 19th. The day of my son's birthday, I made the decision of just taking my son and moving out of my parents' house.
Why did you make that decision to just take your son, Mr. Navarro?
Continue to keep your eye on her because she's going to get worse.
Just because of a number of things that had already been piling up. But the final straw was...
What things?
Well, the final straw was she had just gone to jail for assault or attempted assault with a knife on her boyfriend or her mother's boyfriend. And she did that while my son was present and her other son as well, her newborn. And
So
then,
did she go to jail?
yes, she did. And she
So
went
then-
back as soon as she got back out for another altercation that I guess went on.
So you rescued the child. That's how you came into possession of the child.
Yes, sir. And it's also a number of things if you are okay with me listing all of that.
I'm listening to you, sir.
Well, since we had our she was around his first few months of life, but then we ended up splitting up. And right after that, she just was in and out. She was dumping him on me on days I was supposed to have him so she could go out. And then it slowly found its way to she just left. I guess she had stuff going on with her family. She was the main cause of a lot of the problems that she was having within her household. So I guess her mom gave her the option.
Let me say this, Mr. Navarro. I have problems with people who blame everything on the other person. Everybody is at fault. So
Yes,
she
sir.
couldn't have done everything.
At that point, it pretty much was just that, just her not wanting to be around and her problems that she had within her family. And she ended up leaving to Kansas. There was I don't believe that I did anything to make that happen at all.
Now the judge in this case, Judge George Collins, I'll just chalk it up to him having an extremely bad day because I've seen him do certain cases before and really hold people's feet to the fire. But the young man just made allegations in regarding to how much of a menace that this woman is, and she has yet to refute any of the things that he is saying, but you're making him look like a component of the bad guy. Sounds like she has the potentiality and the track record of being violent, and him trying to be the upstanding father that he claims to be went in and saved the child.
The child's been with you since January.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to leave the child with Mr. Navarro. Now you can send them back to work out anything else they want to do.
Okay, thank you.
May I speak?
Sure.
I have not abandoned my child. I have always been in my child's life.
No one said you abandoned your child, Miss Wilson. The problem is that the child has been with him for 6 months because the child, the family code says if the child has been with him for 6 months, then you are going to I'm going to have to leave the child with him. Then y'all can go to the district court and work out whatever conservatorship things you need to do. But both of you are going to have attorneys for that.
Okay, and can I request for a temporary order?
Sure. I'm sure that's what they're going to do anyway when they go back and talk to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
I've done a ton of these court videos at this case, and it is beyond rare to have a judge say, leave him with the father. Now, the law is one thing, but I think that the judge is making an in-the-moment decision as well as to his opinion regarding the allegations against the mother and adding on that she barely did anything for 6 months, not exhausting all of your options in a half of a year to get your children back may point to the direction of you not being the best parent. But at this junction, the father goes into more detail into how sinister or violent that the mother is.
Yeah.
Okay, you can put them back in the breakout room. Okay, you may continue.
So Mr. Navarro, do you believe that there's a risk that Miss Wilson might harass you or somebody who lives with you, that there might be some danger if she has access to your address and contact information?
Yes.
Why do you believe that?
There was an incident with my mother. She fist fought, kicked and scratched and bit her a few years ago. And she's also harassed my mother since I've had Ezekiel through phone calls, going to her house. And she's also harassed my wife through messaging. And they've also had a couple of altercations.
Okay. And so I guess you said there's been an incident with your wife, and your wife lives with you, I assume?
Yes. And
does your mother live with you?
no.
Okay. So what exactly happened when you say there was an altercation between her and your wife?
We're just 2 years of just back and forth, and it turned into her coming at my wife about fighting, and them just having, and then my wife blocked her, and she's made a fake account, and since then she's been lurking on her social media pages, and that's about all of that.
Okay. I apologize. There's someone in my house right now. If I could just close the door to reduce the
Okay.
noise a little bit? Okay, sorry about that.
Yes. She's also had other altercations with her mother that led her to be arrested, and an altercation with her other son's father that also got her arrested.
And do you have any sort of reason to believe that she might try to show up at your house uninvited if she knows where you live?
Yes.
Has she ever done that before?
Yeah, when I was living with my mother, yes.
Are you asking that she have a non-expanded standard possession order?
Yes, just the regular standard.
Okay. And why is it that you don't want her to have the expanded?
I just would rather, it's just really just preference.
Okay. Do you understand that with the normal extended possession order that that you and her wouldn't have to interact as much, that if
Yeah.
most days she'd pick her up from school?
I would just rather be the one to pick him up and drop him off to school, just to kind of keep that standard and routine for him.
State has calculated a proposed child support amount of $294 per month with medical support at $96 per month. Would you be in agreement with those amounts?
Yes.
She's only like 19 years old, multiple baby daddies, baby mama drama between the baby daddies, violence, aggression, no scenario that a children should be raised in.
Okay. Are you in agreement? Do you have any insurance available through your employment?
No.
Are you in agreement to an order which provides that you would apply for government health insurance?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And I don't know if the judge is going to end up doing a temporary or a final order today, but if the judge does do a final order, would you be in agreement with our the state's calculation of retroactive child support at $11,760, which accounts for that's basically the last 4 years minus 12 months where y'all had a 50-50 possession schedule?
Yes.
Then would you be in agreement to have that amount paid off at $109 per month?
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to bring to the court's attention?
I would really much prefer it to be a final court date right now, just because of so many things that have already happened, and I feel like for us to just make it temporary, it just costs us a lot of money to probably most likely be the same result of me maintaining custody. She's tried to commit suicide on multiple occasions of Ezekiel's life. The assault has always been a big thing. That's why I made the decision of taking my son away from that lifestyle, just because all these things were going on in front of him since he was 2 years old. I had to go pick him up because her and her mom just got into it. There's broken glass all over around my toddler. He's in right next to it, and I just didn't want my son to have to grow up in such a toxic household. And then it's just been a number of things. We haven't been able to at all come to any sorts of agreements, not even all the way down to tax money. For the first couple of years of my son's life, her mother was claiming him without letting us know anything. And then while
This court reporter is the absolute worst. Editor, replay that section again. What in the ratchet DEI hire is going on here?
Monte was gone in Kansas. She left for, I think it was a little over 6 months. And when she did return, we didn't even know. And I can have my mom back that up. And when she did come back around, she slowly made her way into Ezekiel's life again. And I understand that she had a lot going on, but it is a lot of bridges that she burned herself. And I know that with everything that I've had going on in my life, I've never once left my son. He's been with me since the day he was born. It's 5 years, almost 6 now.
And I think there's one agreement that the two of y'all reached, and that's to have communications about your child take place on AppClose. Is that correct?
On what did you say? Sorry.
AppClose, it's a co-parenting app that
Oh, I guess they told her that. I haven't heard anything of that.
Okay. Well, I mean, so I guess if you're asking that your contact information be left out, would you also be asking? I guess that's kind of an alternate way that you would have of being able to communicate with Miss Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Well, if this were to be a final hearing, I'd be fine disclosing my information to her and just contacting through cell phone. But if it is going to be a temporary, I'd rather do that and have the non-disclosure.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
All right.
Say we call the mother, Miss Wilson.
Yes.
Miss Wilson, do you believe that you and the father can work together to make decisions regarding the child?
I don't know. I've been co-parenting basically with his mother the past 5 years. Ever since he's turned 18, it's been a terrible experience since me and him have communicated on our own. He's very aggressive. He's constantly calling me out my name, cussing me out. Like the reason why he took him recently is because I was out with COVID and over a backpack that I forgot to drop off to him that I said I would bring to his school. That's what this is all about, over a backpack. The incident he's speaking of, I called the police because somebody put their hands on me, and this is in October. This has nothing to do with recently.
And that was kind of going to be my next series of questions. So has there been family violence between you and Mr. Navarro?
There has and then his mother put his hands on me. There's a police statement with him as a witness telling the police that she hit me first when I was
Specifically what I'm asking is if he's ever tried to harm you, and we can talk about those other issues here in a second, but I just want.
Yes, he's tried to put me in front of the car on the sidewalk. He's choked me, he slammed me. He's never actually like slapped me or punched me, but it's just like little stuff like that. I don't know if you consider that little, but stuff like that. And it was like, wasn't all the time because we were young. We were in his parents' house. So obviously we can't just be wilding out in there. But yeah, there has been, but that hasn't been in the past 4 years. That was the first year of my son's life.
Interesting. So she's older. She's barely an adult, but still older than him, because she says when he was underage, it was a 50-50 split. And the child now is 5 years old, which puts him at about 15-ish years old when the child was born. Babies raising babies.
Based on that, are you also asking that your address be kept out of the court's out of the court record, and that you not have to provide your address to him?
Yes, and also with the altercation with his girlfriend, she attacked me twice, and the second time was in front of an officer. So y'all can pull up those records if y'all need to.
Are you currently employed, making about $100 a day, 5 days a week?
Yes.
State calculated guideline child support at $294 per month and medical support at $96. Would you be in agreement with that?
No, I want to have my son solely, or either we can share him half and half. I don't want to do that. I feel like it should be a fair agreement.
I guess, was there a time in the past that the two of you shared 50-50?
Yes, the first 3 years, the last 3 years, I've had him majority of the time, just for the fact that he was in school and he was still underage, which is understandable. When we were both still in school, I had him 1 week and then he had him 1 week.
Okay. And state calculated retroactive child support, taking off 12 months out of the last 4 years at $11,760. Would you be in agreement with that amount?
No.
And why is that?
Because I have always supported my child. I have been working because my family owned a business around that time. I have been working since I've been 12 years old. I've solely supported my child since day one. He hasn't even had a job since then. I can't blame him, because at the end of the day, we were underage when we had our child, but I have always supported my child. So no, I'm not in agreement of that.
All right.
Also, I wanted, if this is a temporary order for now, I do want the expanded custody for now until we have a next hearing for the actual permanent order.
Is there anything else you want to bring to the court's attention?
Yes. The only reason he's been over there for 6 months is because I seen them in Oklahoma. He took him out of state without my permission. Also, it's been a long process for y'all to process this case. So that also racked up months on there as well. I did not wait 6 months to get my child back. I took immediate action. I called the police. I've been trying to find where he lives. I already know where he lives. Like I didn't even go out of I've seen my child over there. I watch him from a distance, because there's domestic abuse in his household where he's beating his girlfriend. I don't know if he's doing it while my child is there or not, but I don't want that around my child either.
Now, what's interesting is that when she describes what was going on in those 6 months, she at first says that I didn't know where he was. But then in the very next sentence, she says, I knew where he was. And not only just that, but I would watch him. And then in the middle of that sentence, she switches to, and he also shouldn't be over there because it's an abusive household. The constant switching and the unclear dialogue, the inconsistency of thought and the switching of stories is reducing her believability. So I think that the judge made the right decision here.
He has a history of abuse. So does his parents while I was present. I've also had to help his mom pick up glass the next day from his father beating her. So his life is not perfect. I don't know why they try to make it seem like that, but.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. I need both of you. I need you to unmute yourself, Mr. Navarro, because I need both of you. Okay, I'm entering a temporary order. I am finding that I'm granting the non-disclosure. You don't have to give your addresses, but I am going to order that Ms. Wilson pay child support in the amount of $294 a month, beginning on September the 1st, and that she pay cash medical of $96 a month, beginning September the 1st. I am not going to rule on the retroactive child support. I'll leave that for the district court. I am going to grant the visitation standard. But both of you need to do, you can do this 3-day and get a new hearing. You can appeal, but you can do it within the next 3 days, and you'll get a trial de novo, and that court will tell you, will make a decision that is independent of the decision that I'm making today. This is out of the 256th court. You have 3 days to appeal to that court.
So the judge rules that custody stays predominantly with the father and that the mother will have to pay child support in the amount of $294. She does have the opportunity to appeal within the district court, but for right now, a win's a win. You could tell by the still that she's none too happy. Let's let the judge finish up.
Now, having said that, let me say this. Both of you, if you're going to contest custody, need to hire attorneys so that they can put forth your claim or what you think should happen. And both of you seem to have had a lot of underlying issues. So you're probably going to need somebody who's going to be able to tell your story a lot more clearly than the two of you have told it so far. Now, Mr. Wright is going to email you a copy of this order. It's going to find that Mr. Navarro is going to be the primary caregiver of the child. Both of you are going to share that information, share that jointly. This is going to be joint managing conservatorship. I'm going to grant the non-disclosure. I'm going to order the child support and the cash medical support, but both of you need to appeal if you want to get custody of the child, okay?
I do have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
To appeal, do I need to go down to the courthouse and do that, or do I do it online?
I'm not sure about the online, but I'm pretty sure you could do it without going down to the courthouse. Mr. Wright, would you make sure that they get a copy of the information on how to appeal?
I'm not sure we have like an official publication on that, but I can just make sure that that's included with
All right,
with this
send
one.
it to both of them. Send it to both of them.
And real quick, Your Honor, if I can say, there is no domestic violence going on within my household. Within my parents, that was an
Sure.
ongoing.
Sir, that's the reason why this is a temporary order. You get to tell your whole story. You get
Yes,
to tell
sir.
it the way you want to tell it. Okay?
Also, so on you said the standard, so that's not expanded.
No,
So I
that's
don't-
not expanded. That
I
is
don't-
regular child support from 6 o'clock on Friday till 6 o'clock on Sunday.
Okay, and I get him on Thursday from 6 to 8.
That's correct.
So are you putting this in order today in order for me to go pick him up today?
I don't know. Mr. Wright, are you going to be able to get this order out today?
I don't know if it'll be today, but yeah, it'll be soon. So I mean, if we need it today, I can try to get it today.
Okay, can
Okay.
y'all, is it okay for me to come pick him up from the Chick-fil-A today? From
Not
him?
unless you have the order. I want you to have the order, so in the event something goes wrong, you can show the police that you have the right to have possession of the child.
Okay, so I'll meet you there at 6 if we do receive the order today. in time.
Right. I'm sure it's an email, so it shouldn't take but a few clicks for him to be able to get that to you.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure I follow up with this case because I want to see the result within the district court. But what are the lessons to learn? Number one, reason number 4,762 as to why not being emotional or reactionary, that's probably more accurate, within your lives will lead to a better life. The young lady, you can tell, has had a very reactionary life that's been filled with a lot of drama and violence and clapping back at somebody. And because the father was able to demonstrate those things and clearly speak through it, it aided in him being able to, at least for the temporary, keep primary custody of their child. The second thing is, and this is contrary to popular belief, but men are awarded primary custody. This is your example. To all the fathers out there that think that their particular case is a done deal, especially when you involve a lawyer, well, here goes a case. Although I still think that it is largely dependent upon the judge presiding over the issue. I think the father here should definitely heed the warning to come prepared to district court with a lawyer, because there is a high likelihood that he may not come across a judge that prioritizes a father being in a child's life, and this can go completely differently. So at least you have a professional fighter that knows the law to help defend you. Questions, comments, concerns, y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Guys, what do you guys think about this case? Leave it down in the comment box down below. Are you currently fighting a child custody, a child support case, and you want to be able to share it? Leave it down below as well so we can learn from it. Until next time, YouTube, peace.